much needed changes to the improvements to the provider registration process. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the process and highlight some things as I go. All right, so the first problem is in the very first thing, this dash. If I select dash, the dash shows up there. So there should be no dash, and we don't need Mr., Mrs., or Ms. We can get rid of these things. We should either say none, in which case it should show nothing, or doctor. That's the only two things that should go here. We don't need Mr., Mrs., or Ms. So let's just proceed like this. Okay, good. So street. Okay, so I just put in some gibber stuff and it satisfies the row. I really think we need to work with one of these verification tools like Lob or Smarty Streets or the USPS APIs. There's so many APIs out there that can help with this to make sure we're not getting gibberish data like I just put in there. To make sure, for instance, that the state and the city and the zip code all coincide. There's no reason why we should be accepting bad data when in fact there's lots of different programs out there that can do it. The USPS API is free. I believe. I think you just have to register and get access the Web Tools API. So we could just be doing a more sophisticated job of making sure we're getting good and valid information here. Because ultimately, these are the products we're selling, and if they're giving us bad information, we really do need to know it. Keep going through. Okay, undergraduate university. Now, I just sent some information to Vinay on this. So again, we could do a better job on this. There are a finite number of approved and credentialed undergraduate universities in the U.S., so they need to be able to choose one off of the list. Medical schools. There's only so many approved and credentialed medical schools in the U.S. They should be choosing off of that, and also medical residency programs. Again, a finite list. So we should maintain. We need to maintain databases of each of these things. Also for physician assistants and nurse practitioners, so that when they're typing in, that we're cross-referencing against our list and trying to help them autofill and make sure that whatever they give here is actually a valid university. Again, part of the making this credential system really work. Specialty. Okay, so there are certain approved specialties, and we should be using actual specialties. And in this case, we're going to put in OBGYN. Let me get back here. That's obstetrics and gynecology. That's a medical specialty. So I've given Vinay a list of all of the medical specialties. Again, a small and finite list. Okay, here we're going to lowercase letters, and in other places we're using uppercase letters. Undergraduate upper, undergraduate upper, and so here we're using title case, and here we're using lowercase. We just need to be consistent through this whole thing. I think Meredith prefers lowercase, so just go through and check that all these titles should be handled similarly. it really does add up to looking more professional, being more professional when we handle it that way. There are an approved list of institutions, medical universities that do specialty training. It's the same list as for medical schools. The same, medical schools also do specialty training, so we have to use that same list to make sure that's valid. Authorities, that one has been fine for a while. Awards or distinctions. Okay, so now we have the award, but we don't show the distinction. So I'm sorry, who was awarded by? And the award and who was awarded by are sort of equally prestigious. So I think we should be showing them both. There is room on the preview pane. You go down here, awards and distinctions. There's plenty of room over here. We should be showing both awards and distinctions. Awards and distinctions and who was awarded by, because we're just not presenting a valuable and impressive piece of information we should be showing. So let's change that. Same true for title and publication. The publication in many cases would be the more prestigious and the title would be somewhat obscure, but we have plenty of room to show both, and we should. So we should be showing title and publication. Again, it's going to crop somewhere in here so it doesn't get too close to the plus symbol. We've got plenty of room to do awards and publications, and we can do the title of the publication and the publication itself. But there's no reason why we can't do both. There's plenty of room. Bank account, skip. Receive money by PayPal. Okay, here we have a problem. Let's say I just save through here. I'm not putting any numbers up here. The only time I get a number is if I change the value, and now it presents. There should not be a punishment or a penalty for not changing the value. So right now, see that? So if we just go to the default value, there's nothing presents. So that needs to be fixed. And I think we should probably show one of these values here. Maybe the normal office hours, that's probably the most common scenario. So we should probably say 15, ideally it would be 15 and 12. Number, comma, number. We can show them both. We've got plenty of room to do 15 MIN, comma, 12 HRS. We've got room to fit in that information. We might as well just stay true to our protocol and show an abbreviated version of each. So that's the process. So here we got another thing here. We hit submit. And we get a little issue here. That's good form validation. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful. There's a bunch of things we need to improve on here, and we'll like to see what you come up with.